Our thesis is that everybody on Earth would be better off if they had a weekly ritual of sitting down and asking themselves, what's the absolute best use of my time?
Let's go. I just caught up on the Commit Action rebrand that my team worked on a few years ago, and I wanted to show you the weekly ritual that their coaches have used with thousands of people working on things in isolation, including my 20-minute ritual. The psychology at play is if people don't know what you're up to, you're less likely to perform. Before filming with Peter, this video was planned as a case study, but I realized there's a deeper point I want to share with you. Being self-employed since 2009, I've never struggled with client deadlines, but often lacked accountability for my own brand. So this video is about momentum, not motivation, setting a vision, and then the relentless weekly drumbeat of getting there. And for the nerds, if you want to see the framework and my annual goals, you can go to matus.com/weekly.
When it's every 2 weeks, it's not enough. When it's every month, everyone forgets. Why is that the right frequency?
I think that human beings are kind of hardwired to get overly focused on like the big levers to do the work that drives the big annual result forward. The thing about weekly rituals is anything that you're looking to habituate, any type of work, any type of input where you don't necessarily notice it stacking up as you're doing the work, but when you turn around and look back a year or two, in hindsight, there's this body of work, there's this motion and momentum and progress, the right size cadence to make it something that becomes habituated, that becomes a muscle memory. Little things that we just need to optimize for consistency. And so much of building, certainly personal brand, is about showing up consistently, giving yourself enough, making the inputs that you get enough of the feedback that you start to tweak and iterate and course correct. You could take a whole month and give yourself a little content creation sabbatical, make all of this stuff, but you're not then going to learn at the same rate as you will by just executing really consistently and tweaking everything, just 1 degree every week.
But not doing it alone. That was the big unlock.
Oh boy. Our business increasingly kind of figured out that the product market fit we had was resonating most with the kind of highest end of our customer segment. So we've increasingly evolved our product offering to be more and more premium, higher prices to do deeper work with people who value it more. And we came to Philippe because we wanted to evolve the brand to match that from, what was essentially a skunkworks sort of MVP business idea that we put together when we really found who our customer was. And we started to really understand that. We needed a brand that really spoke to them and evoked the feel of sort of a premium service, that we had been delivering on but didn't have the brand to match.
We identified the core of the position. A coached weekly ritual to commit to what's important over what's urgent. Then we updated the brand identity over 90 days to match this premium vision.
The old branding used space exploration, and we kept that, but made it grow up. So I took the timeless Futura type from the moon landing and updated the icon to integrate a monogram CA and a sense of launching forward.
The cyclic nature of work made it an obvious choice to put motion at the heart of the brand expression. We animated clockwork orbitals mirroring the synchronicity between accountability and action. And then color palette with dark blues and antique gold evoke opulence and maturity.
Talking to just some of your coaches and some of your clients, it's like I heard myself on the other side, like I'm a brander, not doing my own branding.
Personal brand is something that I think really works for people when they start to treat it as a habit, like a mental gym, a sort of a mental muscle that they're building. And part of that is letting go of perfectionism, right? A lot of personal brand is about being in front of people consistently. And they're not looking to resonate. Like I think a lot of people think of it as, it's like I'm an author, I've got to write a book, I've got to put out my magnum opus. But people aren't looking to have that type of deep sort of soul resonating relationship with personal brands. Like oftentimes it's just a little touch base. Oh, an interesting idea.
Yep.
I can consume in an elevator while I'm on my way to something else. And if it puts them in that kind of positive inflection of, oh great, that's a little something I can take away.
Yeah.
That's it. That's built the brand.
So many big, hairy, audacious goals don't happen because of this psychology. So for the last few years, I've worked with Victoria for 20 minutes every Wednesday. She organizes my thoughts, tracks my progress towards this larger annual goal, and keeps me accountable to myself by representing my brand like a client.
Hey, Philippe.
Hey, Victoria.
So, did you figure out the script for the skit this week?
I didn't. I got stuck on how meta the conversation was.
Wow, you're a really big failure. Pretty sure you're the worst entrepreneur I have ever met. Your business is gonna fail, and it is all your fault. This was such a simple task, and you couldn't even get this done. How do you ever expect to succeed? I'm just so disappointed. So this kind of negative reaction is exactly what we don't want to do. All you're doing in this scenario is associating hard work with punishment. There should be enough pain in not doing a task if we've properly identified why it was important to begin with. So instead, let's try this. So what prevented you from figuring it out? Anything you can do to work through it?
Knowing that while we'll spend 20 minutes, it's got to be done in 30 seconds in this video. I'll riff with a couple of creatives tomorrow.
So to get through the script, what remains to get done besides recording it?
Storyboarding with the animator, I'll do that this week.
You want me to storyboard?
It's not what you do, it's the outcomes.
I mean, this is what we're obsessed with at Commit Action, is where, you know, it's a productivity coaching service, but we talk about effectiveness not being the same thing as productivity. Things like creating content that it's really easy to feel it doesn't matter this week. It doesn't move the needle that much this week. I'll skip over it in favor of something else.
But 50 weeks later,
50 weeks later, you turn around and you've really built something.
How many excuses do you encounter in people who just end up not doing it?
I think it's really easy to tell yourself any number of stories that something matters other than the ritual of consistency itself. It's perfectionism and that this is not good enough. It's that there's another priority that supersedes it. People decide that they have to work on what's important and urgent rather than what's important and incremental. They kid themselves, and the people who ultimately succeed with important and incremental, they never compromise. You build your life around that ritual, and the act of creation becomes the ritual itself.
I put an example of my annual plan and the framework I use to break it up into milestones at matus.com/weekly. Thanks for getting to the end of this video, for your attention. The main takeaway really for me has been that motivation just doesn't last. It's systems with accountability that do. I've also linked to another video here that shows the weekly process after a vision was set with a client. I hope you like it.
We're good. We're good. Yeah, I'm good.